Able to see my notepad, right?
Yes, Sandeep.
Okay. I Today we're going to spend time to draft the notes and exercise, and one example of LWC, how to invoke a method. Okay, so uh, so these are notes I drafted for your reference. Right. So let me say I couldn't get much time to work on the notes detail. So I thought like in the class I just draft the notes and put some examples in the notepad itself live now. Then I will upload it. Okay. So the definition of Salesforce lighting design system, right? It helps Salesforce developers to bring a uniform look and feel across all Salesforce related application. Okay, and you can access the SLDS this URL, and basically the SLDS contains a component markup. Okay, semantic and accessible component markup, and cross browser compatible CSS. Example like if your HTML page uh, deploy in need to work with respect to different version of the version of HTML language, then the doc type will include in the file. Similarly, it has inbuilt cross-browser compatibility in the SLDS framework. You develop the pages, you style your pages with help of SLDS classes that will work uniformly across different browsers. Okay, and they provided a predefined icons, fonts, and design guidelines. So these all together makes the content, a content of your SLDS. And the naming convention of SLDS, it's a BEM model, right? It means block, element, modifier. So what is block? Block is a main container, main components. Example house. Then you'll have that name, as a first qualifier. Then you'll have a element, door. Okay. And below element we have modifier. That is what I given here. And some of the important SLDS classes. Padding. Okay. Like this. How to display in uppercase? You see here. Mm, yeah. align it to the center. Okay. Normally, if you like to align the any code to the center, what you will do? You'll have to go like text hyphen align, isn't it? Colon center like this, right? This is how the CSS property. You can go with this because this property may not behave uh, uniformly in all the browsers sometimes, but basically in Lightning experience, but this will behave uniformly. Okay. Grid, yeah. The grid, it's also very important part of your SLDS. You can arrange the columns like this. You can arrange the columns like this, and this itself will SLDS grid itself will arrange the columns. It's SLDS gutter is not required, but SLDS gutter if you use, you will get some padding. SLDS gutter is used to add some padding. You get my point. So it adds 16px spacing between the cell. You'll get some spacing. So without SLDS gutters, SLDS grid itself, along with SLDS call, you need to use SLDS call as a child. Then you'll see you'll be able to get this grid. Suppose I like to build, place 6 columns in a row, right? Like to place 6 columns in a row. What you'll do? You just have to repeat this. You have to repeat this, right? Now it's 3. You have to repeat 6 more, or 3 more, right? You'll get 6. So what is the maximum number of columns you can arrange in a row? Any idea? Have you ever come across? The grid support only 12 column. The grid supports only 12 column. You see, right? When you first time when you modify any record page, what do you have to do? You need to activate, right? You need to activate make as a default arc. It's already been set now. But in case if you are doing first time, you need to set as arc default. Otherwise, you won't see the changes what you made in the record page. So this padding, the equal spacing, the padding between this cell is basically because of that gutter.
Yeah, hi Ranjit. So what is the use of grid?
Yeah, grid is used to a grid, right? There is a cell, a column is arranged in a row,
Okay.
with some spacing. And suppose you like to build a record page, rendering the columns in this format. For example, if you take, I have 4 columns here, and you have a huge spacing here.
Yeah.
Right? Which means
Yes.
this I'll tell you how to do that. Suppose you like to equally place this, then you will go with the grid where you will have only 4 columns. So what happens? The 4 columns will span, which means which will arranged over the rows.
Okay.
So I can add a 4 more row, 3 more columns, then 7 columns will be equally arranged in a row. So what is the maximum number of columns that I can arrange in a row with help of grid? 12.
12.
Only 12, yes. So beyond 12, beyond 12, for example, I have 16 fields, 12 fields I need to arrange in a first row. Then the rest 3 fields I need to arrange in next row, which means wrapping the field, wrapping the column. Once all the 12 columns are occupied, the grid is filled, then wrap the rest of the columns to the next row. That should happen automatically. How to do that? If you go here, there is a class called SLDS wrap. Okay, you add that SLDS wrap. What happens? Uh, the rest of the columns, okay, will automatically wrap to the next row. Right. Next to this, sometimes I need a more spacing for certain fields. For example, the account name required a more spacing, and I have description field required a more spacing than amount. So I need to give a different spacing. For example, if you take so I need to arrange the design my layout, right? Say for example, this is my row. Like there are 12 like cell is grid I can make. So here I would like to make, for example, you say like it's a total, right? The total is 12. And the first column should occupy uh, three uh, three portion of these, or three portion of this 12 grid, which means for example, the 312, which means for example 3/4, for example say 3/4, which means uh, almost 75% of the total we are allocating for one particular column. Okay, so that's going to be identified. For example, if it's 12 equally spaced, then what does it mean? 1 by 12, right? Each cell is going to have it's going to have only 1 by 12th of the whole row, isn't it? So this is 1, and next cell, this is equally spacing, right? Equally spacing, nothing but every column will take one portion of the total, which means the 12. Suppose I like to arrange the layout, design the layout in such a way, one column should occupy two portion of this, two part of this. Then what do you do? You have to do like 2 by 12. So that decides, how much space you like to uh, allocate for, how much grid you like to allocate for that particular column. You get my point? You able to follow this, all of you? I'll show an example here. Wait,
Yes, sir.
you'll see here. This is what I've been trying to explain. So the whole is, for example, you consider whole is a 3, for example, 3. Don't be confused like the 3 is a number of grid. 3 is just consider like the total width. Suppose the width is 30 percentage. This is going to be 20 percentage. This is going to be 10 percentage. So you decide that number. This number is random. You pick the number that you want. For example, I like to divide into two half. Then I make it as 4. Then I will say SLDS size underscore 2 of 4. Then again another one is 2 of 4 or 1 by 2. That's also fine, right? Say for example, I repeat this, okay? Yeah. So it is the same thing, yeah. See, 1 of 2. I consider the whole thing is a 2 part, right? You see here 1, 2. The second division I'm talking about, right? This is the first division, which is equally spaced. But here I decide the layout size, right? I decide the layout size in such a way by using the size classes. So you decide. For example, I say it's 5 or it says 8. What happens? The total size I consider as 8 portion, 8 part, 8 portion, whatever. And out of that, the 2 part of 8, 2 of 8 is being occupied by the first column. You get my point? That is how you decide your layout. That's the use of your grid, okay? And you know how to wrap. We can use a wrap actually. So beyond, for example, here they make it as 6, so it's equally spaced 1 by 6, right? So beyond that, any column you have, that will be go to the next row, because we 6 1 2 3, yeah, it's 76 6 6 6 of 12. Hold on, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yeah, they divide 6. So after 6 column, because they make it a 6, right? They make it a 6. So after 6, this will go to the next row because of SLDS wrap. You get my point? So that's how we are going to arrange this. So I just copy this just for reference, okay? But when you can refer these notes uh, to know the frequently used SLDS grid, okay? SLDS classes. Sorry. Yeah. So after this will go to the next automatically. Okay. If you try this example. Of course, icons is also important. Yeah. Uh, you see here, suppose I have a text. Okay. I have a text. I need to put a line, a border, right? I have a text. I need to put a line. You'll be able to see a thin line here at the bottom. You're able to see a line at the left side. It's because of this, right? Okay. See here, they put a line at the top. I think by seeing the class name, you will get the purpose, right? I'm not explaining anything here. Okay. And the box, of course, to put a box theme, which will have a space, a rounded corner. You see, we have a padding, right? It takes care of automatically the padding around the content. Okay. We just have to put a SLDS box. Quite simple, no? It makes your SLDS CSS coding easier, no? Small box. Okay. You're going to add this additional classes so that what's the difference between these two? Maybe you will come to know when you render it. Okay, then maybe the box will be smaller. Now it's showing up both are equal, but you try in your LWC UI. Okay, the padding is become very less, I guess. The padding. See the padding, is very small here, right? Go with this. Okay, and position. Yeah, it will lead to some more discussion. We'll move on to other one. Crawlable theme and there is a model. It's also important. Yeah. You know what is model, right? There are two types of window we have, right? Two types of pop-up. Uh, a pop-up is something like you can move the window, right? Move the drag and you can move it anywhere. But model is something static. You cannot move, right? Like your I cannot move this, right? This is nothing but model, which uh, uh, you know reduce the intensity of visibility at the backend, right? It completely focus the user's attraction towards the content. There is a dim backend, is being applied to the backend. So that's model, right? You cannot move. You can close this. Okay, so that type of model, you how to bring in your LWC. Okay, you can use this class, a model class. You get it, all of you? This session is useful. I'll put the model.
Yes, Ranjit, we are able to.
Listen here. So yeah, so by default, the content area of the model does not have spacing. By default, if you see, I don't think I think this is based on the padding. If you don't apply the padding, SLDS PR on medium, I think you won't get any spacing between the model window and the content. But we have the equal spacing here because of you need to apply some padding with the help of SLDS classes. Let's see some example at the bottom. Yeah, over here. So, which is the class responsible for this? Hold on. SLDS model container, right? And SLDS model header. Okay, I'll show this example now. Wait. And SLDS model content, it can be a body of the container. Container is, can you remember what is the equivalent? If you see the container, it means like your lightning card, right? Like your lightning card. We have a header, body, footer, and action at the bottom. In lightning card, we have action at the top right side. Okay, but here it's right justified. So I copy this. Let us try this. Okay. I remove this button. This is for header. Okay. And this is the content. And this is footer. The footer contains two buttons, right? And section is, that is section actually over here. Okay. Yeah. I made it simple, right? This is something like what we are expecting, just a header. So the outer class should be a model container. The child class is going to be a header, content, footer. The three classes. Okay. Container, model header, and model content, model footer. Anything you put inside, that's your choice, right? And you apply the padding around it by p around. Maybe you can go with the different other padding, small or medium, large or whatever, right? And rest of things are just a content. Okay, if you see the top, um, that tab index, right? Tab index is basically when you hit a tab button on the keyboard, how the the key control has to navigate. That is decided by the tab index. I think -1 will go reverse from bottom to top, right? And because the focus they mainly given for button at the beginning, I think so. And these things and all we can discuss later, time permits. And SLDS model, the class which brings the pop-up, the model pop-up, the design, like the backend will be faded because of this class. Let's see. Okay. One minute. All I'm looking for is you know how to go to the object section from here. Right. What I did, I'll tell you. Uh, the model pop-up I like to demo, right? So adding a custom action, and I replace that custom action. I integrate my custom action with the LWC component, what we created. So how it happens? How it happens? Because of the target record action. You get my point? The target record action, you can link the LWC component with the action that you created. So the action you created using this new action, okay, and you choose LWC component here. Then you choose um, the component, where you don't see other components, right? Whatever you created, we have created during our classes, right? So it's only model demo is appearing because of the target record action that I included, right? So now I'm able to see the model pop-up. You get my point? Clear? We'll move on. I only keep that target, okay? That's it. And hope this is clear, right? So keep this. And how to close the model pop-up? There is a code you need to understand to learn that part. How to close the model pop-up? That when you click on a cancel button, now it's not closing, right? Because the no control is connected, nothing is connected. But how to close the model pop-up? You have to work with the event. In LWC, we have event. You click on it, you fire the event and close this. Okay. So remember this when you cover that communication. Uh, communication between the component using the custom events. Right. That time I would give an example of how to create an event. Then if you remind me, then I will show you how to close the pop-up. Now it's just UI, nothing, no controls, right? But you need to connect the control with your JS, LWC JS, so that I click on cancel, the model will be closed. Okay, when I click on save, a control method can be called, but not now. Okay, yeah, right. Then accordion. Accordion allows user to toggle the display of a section of content. Just hold on. Yeah, like this. You have a, just hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Accordion will help you to bring this type of a component where you can toggle the visibility, which means you can collapse, expand. It's quite important, right? If you like to build any application with this type of rendering, right? Look and feel. So, what is the SLDS classes for the SLDS accordion? SLDS accordion, okay? And you have a child list item. You know UL and LI, right? Unordered list in HTML. We have a bulleted item. Usually, when you go with UL and LI, isn't it? Unordered list will have a bulleted symbol. The items will appear. But here, it is in the form of expandable, collapsible one. Because of this SLDS accordion, you place it in your UL component, and SLDS accordion list item for your LI component. That's it. Right? Able to follow this? So,
Ranjit, can you please explain one more time? Accordion.
Yeah, accordion is used to help render a collapsible, expandable type of UI. You have a content here. You like to see the content, you expand it, right? So that's nothing but toggling, right? You hide and show. Hide and
Like
show is
show and
nothing but
hide.
toggling. Yeah. So we have a list of accordions they are trying to display here. If it is one, then you just go with a para or a division. But there are a list of items they are showing up. How they are doing this? By using UL and LI. You know UL and LI, right? You'll able to display the a bulleted item, right, in HTML. Correct? No. So at the top, we are going to give accordion class, and LI the child list item, right? These two are important. That's it. These two are important. Then you'll be able to see this type of UI. I mean, the look and feel in your UI. So that is the use of accordion. Okay. And you'll see overflow, something. Summary. Okay, enough for it. Yeah, SLDS classes. Another class. Let me put this one example for you. So then I'll move on. Right. To try later. I'm going to try now. Yeah. Then SLDS box, SLDS card. I'm sorry, SLDS card. Yeah. So you remember SLDS card, the equivalent part in your Lightning LWC, right? Lightning card, similar to that. You'll see SLDS card is again another class. Exactly like your Lightning card. You can put a button, a title like this. So yeah, it's SLDS card, and inside we have a. They're trying to build a grid header, grid. Okay, grid means we should have a column, right? Where is the column here? Media. Grid. False. Okay. The main important thing here is header only, header and a footer, and the header footer. Yeah, they have only two portion. Huh? There is no the body here, right? This is a SLDS card, and other than this, okay, I think enough. Let's practice this. Okay, you practice this more. I just move on to one example for how to call a method in LWC. Yes, I have a lightning card. To give a title, okay, and how to add the button here? Suppose I like to place my button at the top right side of my lightning card. It means I have attribute here actions, right? So how to place in this slot? How to place in this slot? We have a slot, right? So where you like to place this action? I can have a button here, right? How to give a label for the button? Label. Okay, and how to give a variant? Like this. Right. Now I'm going to have a method here. And I click. Yep. So I'm going to call this method. How will you call this method? On click of the button, right? On click of the button. So on click event, and you don't need a double quotes, just braces. This. Okay, makes sense. Able to follow this, all of you? Now we know this method will be invoked. We already covered this part, right? If you click on this, you should be able to get this console log. Okay. Now what I'm like to do now, I'm going to include a lightning input. Okay, and I can also enter the label, enter some number, text, whatever. Okay, And now whatever the user entered here, I need to get into some property. They're going to store into some variable. That's it. Okay. So I need to declare that variable, isn't it? I just declare that variable as any text. I declare the variable as any text. So where I have to refer this? Where I have to refer this? Into the value. Get it, all of you? Okay. Right now, but it is whatever you entered that will not sit into this variable unless you do it, you implement that process in your JS. You get my point? It is not like you are because I just declare a property here and refer that property in the value attribute. Okay, but how to make sure the value entered by the user is assigned to this variable? I'm going to include an event on change. The on change event, I'm going to call a method. The method is handle change. Handle change 1, for example. Okay, handle change 1. So handle change, simply handle change. So this is going to be invoked automatically based on a user action, not on the browser form action. Form action, nothing but a button click, a double click, but this is on entering the text. It's being asynchronously invoked, right? So in that case, the method will have a attribute. The method will have a attribute. Sorry, the parameter, event parameter. So this is what going to be invoked. Every time user enters the value, I'm going to get that value in this method. How we are going to get that value here? Listen here. There is a JavaScript event. Okay, there is a JavaScript object. You can refer over that parameter. The object is target, and again, that object is again nested. You can refer like a value. What it's going to render, whatever the value is entered by the user. Because on change event will always invoke this method, right? On change event will always invoke this method. As you enter the value, the on change event will fire, and the value will be referred by target.value property. You get my point? You can run this property over this parameter. Get this value and assign to this variable. How to do that? How to do that? Let us first see this, then I will show that example. Whatever you return, let us first demo that, okay?
The event is, can we rename it to something else, or event should be event?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Anything you can.
We can use anything as like Apex class.
Yeah. Not the predefined value. Yeah. That's a standard for better reference. Okay. You try it. You try it different. Whatever the doubt you guys get, no, just try this. Nothing wrong, right? Just try this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot be familiar with the coding. You need to make mistakes, right? So. Are we at that? Okay. Something is happening, right? Didn't place this. Wait. Work. Oh, because of this model, I think this model pop-up, we are not implemented any closing thing, right? That's the reason it's not working. Let me remove this, okay? I placed on the opposite only, right? Not the problem. Invoke lightning call actions, lightning button on click. Maybe true. Yeah. For the other components, let's try this. Okay. Yeah. The opportunity has some issue, right? I'll check on this later. Okay. I think I'm not placing it properly. Maybe I don't know. Maybe right. Let us try this. We are just focusing on uh, calling a method, right? So we'll see. If I any findings, I'll let you know. Yeah. Now, how will you debug this? Go to inspect console, right? Console clear. You get a empty log, right? Now call JS. Basically, call JS. We call the JS method. Okay, call JS. Basically, click on a call JS. You call just a method. This one. So we are able to see the text now, right? Okay. Now anything we entered on change happening, right? Okay. That is because of this target that value. Okay, target that value. Now this value needs to be assigned to this. This value needs to be assigned to this. Okay. So how to do that? You remember how to refer the property? You remember how to refer the property? How to refer the property here? I need to assign this value. You know how to do this, right? See, simply
This
text equal to. Did you notice this? This keyword is very mandatory. This is automatically
yes.
picked up. Okay, otherwise you cannot target the JS a class property. Of course, if you have any property here that doesn't require any this keyword, this any doesn't require any keyword, this keyword, but the class property we have to mandatorily refer with this. So okay, with this example, you try the example what I'm giving now. Hold on. Okay, anyhow. So what are you going to do? You use lightning card, okay? Use lightning card. Show some icon here and give a uh, title, a subtitle. Title as like this, okay? And subtitle is going to be add, right? Multiply. This can be a bigger font. Try, okay? Try. Yeah. And you have button here. How many buttons? 3 buttons, right? You just have a symbol here. Yeah, and so you get two numbers. From the user. Okay, then you render the total here. Total is centered. Okay, total is centered, and this is editable. These both are writable. What about this one? It should be read only. Total should be read only. A page name, right? Under lightning example, LWC example. I think you already created a application, right? Lightning application. In the first few exercises I given, no, there you place this as one of the very simple try. All you have to do is get the input. Suppose user entered 5 years and 10 years, and if the plus is selected, then the output should be 15, like this. Okay, try this. Whatever additional thing you like to do, you do it. SLDS reference notes is here, right? And this notes you want. I'm sorry, this one. You have seen only few things, right? So this grid example. And this with unchanged on click event, right? Well, example, right? Mm, yeah, correct. Okay. See you tomorrow. Right, guys?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.